All right, welcome back everybody. So I'm done the transom, got all the fiberglass sanded down, and I put some body filler in to kind of make just the whole face of the back of the transom smooth. So the next step is to hook the boat up to the truck, pull the boat down to the paint booth. I'm gonna wipe down the whole boat with the surface cleaner and just get that all ready for priming and painting.
Where are we going, Luke?
Going to the paint booth. Yeah, the pull's pretty good for having a V6. Just gonna rinse down the boat and give her a good wash. Let's just put you guys all right here. Don't want to leave any dust in or on the boat. Oh, great.
What you doing, Luke?
You know, just getting all the dusties out of the paint booth before I spray paint, so I don't get any dust blowing up on my nice new paint job. Went, picked up some primer, FP410, 2K HS urethane primer, high build primer. So I'll be putting that in this together, and that will be mixed at a 4:1 ratio. I'm just gonna start off with wiping down the boat. I'm gonna bring it up to the 6. Maybe I'll do the 5 first. There we go. So at this point, we got our paint mixed, made a mess, boat's ready. Let's get to this. So here's the deal. I didn't buy enough primer. I bought enough primer to almost do 1 full coat, which means we had to end up sanding down the whole boat because all the coats of primer are supposed to be applied at once within like 15 minutes of each coat. So we gotta wet sand it to break open the surface of dried primer. Once we're done sanding this whole boat down, we're gonna probably take it outside, wash it down, and then wipe it down with the surface cleaner again before we continue on with spraying it. Good job, bro. We got some 400 grit sandpaper and we're decided that we're gonna wet sand it and get it all smooth and ready for the finish priming touches. Planning on maybe 2 more coats of primer, we'll see. I bought a gallon, so we'll have plenty.
Too much.
Probably too much. So we finished wet sanding the boat and we took the boat outside again and we washed it with soap and water. We had to put new plastic on the bottom and around the boat. And now it's been sitting in here for like 2 hours since we washed it. So everything's dry. We got our new batch of primer mixed up and we're gonna start on the inside, go around the perimeter, and then I guess work our way from the inside out. Not bad. So we probably actually altogether, there's probably 4 or 5 coats in here. We really focused on the top part along the sides and the back, the front, with the extra heavy layer. We've got a bit of primer left. That's for my next boat project. But yeah, so next time we're gonna rebuild an airplane. We're gonna head home, let the primer dry, probably come back in the morning and try to just give this a good smooth finish before we go ahead with the final coat of red. Thanks for your help, Jonathan. You really laid those coats on real good. Should I tell them the story about your first gas tank you painted? Let's just say Jonathan has gotten a lot better at painting. Oh, look at, actually, this is the only run on the boat that came through. Just gonna get rid of that with some sandpaper tomorrow. I mean, Jonathan's first gas tank for his motorcycle, it just looked like that.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
I'm just kidding, it wasn't that bad. All right, so we're gonna go home and get some sleep. So see ya tomorrow. So it's the next morning. Right now I'm going to be taking 400 grit sandpaper and going over the boat, wet sanding it all down. I'm gonna go over the rougher spots with 400 grit. And then also to maybe just go over other areas with the 600 grit sandpaper. Spent the whole day wet sanding down the boat. And tonight we are going to be putting one thin coat of Total Boat Wet Edge. 1 part polyurethane, topside paint. So what we're going to do here, we're going to use a 5-to-1 ratio. Because basically it just says to add 15 to 20% xylene. Alright, here we got the xylene that we will be mixing with our paint. What we're gonna do is apply a thin coat of the topside paint onto the boat. And then that takes about, was it 8 hours? 8 to 12 hours to dry. We're gonna mix the paint, load up the gun, turn on the compressor, and get to spraying. first coat of paint. It actually looks like pretty much exactly the same as the other color. The original color that I bought the boat with. On the can it says to apply very thin coats. So I'm not exactly sure like how thin, but I mean like, I don't know. You can still see like a little bit of primer through some of this paint here. When it's dry, I'll probably have like a really rough texture to it. So it's looking great. What time is it? 10:30?
Yes.
It's 10:30. We're going home. See you tomorrow. Got these guys working so hard. Good job, guys. The first coat of paint that we put on last night was a little bit thinner than what it probably should have been. So this next coat, we are going to be applying it a lot thicker. We'll probably end up maybe even using more paint on this coat just because it won't be as thin. We are by no means professional, so don't take any of our painting strategies to heart. Here goes nothing. What do you think, Jonathan?
Looks good.
Looking good. Second coat complete. All right, so what does this mean? We gotta wait 16 hours for this to dry. And then I'll scuff it up again. And then we can go ahead with the third coat.
Yeah, maybe.
Hopefully that will be the last coat. I would say definitely a lot thicker than the first coat. I bet you we could have even gone just a tiny bit thicker, at least like right in this area. But no, it looks good overall. At this point, I'm gonna just head out, let this dry, and I'll be back in 16 hours. Counting down starting now. I came earlier today to tape the water line on the boat. It's not gonna be exactly the water line, but I taped this line on. Underneath this line will be black. I didn't have my camera with me, so I actually have to run home and get my camera. What I did was, I just kind of went off of other pictures that I found online of the same boat and kind of judged the depth of where the water was kind of gonna be sitting. So also based it off of the water line that was on the boat before, like when I bought it. Seeing this boat sitting in the water, it looks like the water came up to around this point, roughly this point. And then I pretty much just put the water line up a little bit. But the pictures that I have of this boat in the water, it's not my boat, but a different boat that's exactly the same. It has a 25 horsepower on, so it probably wouldn't be sitting as far down in the water because I've got a 40 horsepower that I'll be putting on this boat, and it's a lot heavier than the 25 horsepower. So I kind of gave it a little bit of extra room for it to sink in the back, if that makes sense. I think it'll be fine. It's not like it's gonna be a huge issue. It's more or less just kind of like for looks. I already scuffed it up with Scotch-Brite and wiped it all down. So I'm gonna go ahead right now, put the first coat on. So I'm back here the next night and the boat is looking good. Had some good coverage and a pretty good solid coat of paint. I'm gonna leave it with one coat of paint because there isn't really a need to do a second coat. There's already 3 coats of red and then just 1 coat of black. I put a pretty good coat on. I didn't lay it like too thick, but I put a pretty solid layer on. So I think it's not necessary to put another coat over top of that. I am going to get the whole boat uncovered. That's looking pretty slick. I'm just gonna pull this off real slow. What color pinstripe I should do. I was kind of thinking doing it like a brighter or darker red pinstripe, like along here. Or maybe blue, or gold, or yellow. Oh, maybe yellow. I think we can finally officially say the paint job is complete. I think it'd look pretty cool if we were able to put a pinstripe just above the black. I'm not sure what color I would go with, but maybe you guys could give me some great ideas. It will look a lot different when it sits in the water with that straight line. I think it takes probably about maybe a full week for this paint to like completely cure. And then I'll be buffing out like some of on the surface here of the hood or on the bow. We got a few dust particles in the paint that I want to buff out. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, it looks like glass. Cool. I'm just happy to finally get the paint job done. It definitely took me longer than I thought. I really enjoy painting, so that's good. So I guess at this point, this could be the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.